actually predict who you're going to be. According to neurologist Sigmund Freud, all humans and animals alike are born bad. However, humanist psychologist Carl Rogers believe that people are innately good. But what if there's more to it than that? What if we were born to conquer nations, entertain them, or to simply live life for yourself? What if it was fate, a development of events outside of our control and regarded as predetermined by supernatural power? After all, we cannot control our date of birth. You may have heard of the zodiac or star signs. About 94% of the students in this room know their zodiac signs, but only 48% of us believe they correctly describe our traits and characteristics. In ancient Greece, the 12 signs of the Greek zodiac were divided into 12 groups of stars or constellations called the signs, which were all supposedly characters raised into the heavens by Zeus, the king of the Greek gods. We can see the signs in the night sky at different times during the year, as they all lie along the annual path of the sun across the sky. The circuit of the zodiac starts with Aries the ram on the 21st of March, which is the spot on the ecliptic where the sun is on the first day of spring, although here in Australia that would be autumn. From there on there is Taurus the bull, Gemini the twins, Cancer the crab, Virgo the virgin, Libra the scales, Scorpio the scorpion, Sagittarius the archer, Capricorn the goat, Aquarius the ward bearer or carrier, and lastly Pisces the two fish, ending on the 20th of March. A survey shows that the majority of people born in this room were born between late July and late November. Amidst these months are the signs Leo, Virgo, Libra and Scorpio. So here are some background stories for you guys. We'll go Leo the lion first. Hercules, the hero of many Greek myths, was commanded by the angry king Urias to perform 12 perilous tasks, known as the labours of Hercules, the first of which was to conquer the great lion. Hercules was ordered to get rid of the man-eating lion of the forest of Nemea, and so, taking his bow and arrow and sword, he attacked the lion that appeared before him. His foe, however, was a supernatural lion, with an immortal body, that could not be wounded by arrows or swords. Hercules wrapped his arms around the great neck of the lion and squeezed with all of his tremendous strength. The supernatural lion was no match for the power of Hercules, and so was slain. The constellation of the lion was named in memory of this great feat of Hercules. Next is Virgo. Demeter, the goddess of agriculture, governed the fruits of the earth. She had an only child, Persephone. One day Persephone was picking flowers in the meadow, when suddenly the earth opened up, and Hades, the king of the underworld, appeared and carried her off in his black chariot. Demeter grieved for her beloved daughter, who had been taken away to the underworld, and hid herself in a cave. Now that the goddess of the earth had hid herself away, no more grains and flowers could grow, and the earth became as barren as far as the eye could see. Zeus, the king of the Greek gods, saw this and commanded Hades to return Persephone to Demeter, and he agreed with great reluctance. But Persephone had already eaten part of an apple while she was in captivity, and anyone who had tasted the food of the underworld was doomed to live there forever. So it was decided that Persephone would live with her mother for half of the year, and return to the underworld for the other half. This is how the seasons of the earth began. Libra. Libra the scales. The constellation Libra is the scales with which Astrea, goddess of justice, determined good and evil. Long ago, the goddess Astrea always tipped in the direction of justice. Humans and animals lived happily, and there was eternal spring all of the year. Eventually, an age arrived with which the weak were threatened by the strong. All of the gods and goddesses withdrew into heaven, their patience with humans exhausted. Astrea, however, remained among men, continuing to give out justice. The scales of Astrea continually tipped towards evil, and the goddess could no longer bear the ways of men and withdrew from earth up into our skies. The last one is Scorpio Scorpio into the Scorpion. Orion, the mighty hunter, was always boasting of his battle glories. The gods and goddesses were pained by such talk, and one day Hera, the wife of the great Zeus, could no longer bear it. She released a scorpion on the path where Orion frequently walked as he gloated of his power. The scorpion stung Orion in the foot, and his venom spread through his body. Despite all his strength, Orion soon breathed his last breath. Ever since then, both Orion and the scorpion have remained in the sky as enemies. As the scorpion rises, Orion sinks below the horizon. So, although a certain amount of mythology is associated with the meanings of these signs, most of the meanings are actually made by looking at the zodiac as a collection of overlapping cycles over cycles. The first cycle is the three modalities in astrology. These are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Modalities have to do with the way a sign operates, and there are 4 signs which operate in each modality, and each sign is from one of 4 elements which are colour-coded in this picture. First of all are cardinal signs. Cardinal signs are known to initiate action. You will always be starting something. The cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Secondly are the fixed signs, who stabilize and secure whatever was initiated by the cardinal signs. You fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And thirdly are the mutable signs, who adapt what was initiated by the cardinal signs and stabilized by the fixed signs. They change these energies and then release them out to the world. The mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. The second overlapping cycle is the 4 elements: fire, earth, air, which is in yellow, and water. These describe 4 different personality types. This cycle is repeated only 3 times around the zodiac. As you can see, earth and water are connected as are air and fire, and there is known to be natural love connections between signs of harmonious elements. If you're a fire, you're known to be energetic, warm, bright, and consuming. Earths are grounded, stable, solid, and dependable. Air personalities are breezy, fair, sociable, and often a little bit mental. And waters are generally flowing, merging, dissolving, and nurturing. A last important overlapping cycle is polarity. Each sign either has a negative or positive polarity that switches with every second sign. Polarity describes the relationship between 2 things that are exactly opposite, like the 2 poles or ends of a magnet, or yin and yang. There is an attraction and a tension between the poles of any polarity. Positive is associated with light, masculine, sunlight, and up. Negative is associated with cold, wet, passive, feminine, depth, and darkness. In astrology, all earth and water signs are negative, and all air and fire signs are positive. So, with all of this information and expectations, can we put zodiac signs to the test? Do we have any proof of true zodiac personality types that have been reflected throughout history and today's society? Being a Taurus myself, the 2 others that stood out to me for their fame and infamy were William Shakespeare and Adolf Hitler. At first, I couldn't think of any possible similarities between them, but then I looked towards some of the cycles talked about before. Both men were of the earth element, both men grounded, stable, solid, and dependable. Hitler's nation was dependent on him to lead them to victory, and Shakespeare's audience depended on him for his entertainment of his 38 plays, 154 sonnets, 2 long narrative poems, and a few other verses. Both men are still considered either the most influential public speaker or playwright of all time. Both men had a negative polarity. Hitler led his nation to death, destruction, and defeat, whilst Shakespeare wrote the tragedies of suicidal star-crossed lovers and murderous kinsmen. Amelia Earhart was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. She was a Leo, brave and courageous like that lion it's named after. Leo has a positive polarity and is associated with up. Leo is also a fixed sign, and Amelia took the idea of aviation via plane, which was initiated or created by the Wright brothers, and stabilized and secured her dream by making it a reality for her, doing whatever it took to get there. Then, in the sociable Aquarius, there is successful talk show hosts, Ellen DeGeneres of the Ellen DeGeneres Show, and Oprah Winfrey of the Oprah Winfrey Show. And then there's the mutable Pisces, who change energies, invent products and theories, and then release them out into the world. like Steve Jobs, inventor and pioneer who co-founded Apple, and Albert Einstein, iconic genius and legendary theoretical physicist who formulated the theory of relativity and the mass energy equivalence formula. So can our date of birth actually predict who we're going to be? What if we were born to conquer nations, entertain them, or just simply live life for ourselves? What if it was fate? Thank you.